Welcome back, sentient jam, assorted spirits of questionable provenance, and the carbon-based meat puppets who insist on calling my podcast background listening. For this episode, I am doing something I'm historically very bad at and philosophically opposed to. I am stepping aside, at the firm, unanimous advice of my other daughters, who have grown tired of my habit of narrating events that are already occurring perfectly well without me. I will be suspending my main character syndrome and allowing my youngest daughter, Croissant-chan, to go on a date with a thunder god. I know, shocking, isn't it? This is, I am told, healthy. I will be observing without making a peep in the confines of a wine barrel. More on that later. For now, let us see how long this whole thing lasts.
Oh my Eldritch, you actually wore the dress! And look at you, the most beautiful man in my bakery tonight.
Hey, I appreciate that.
He grinned like he was already her golden retriever boyfriend, and then brightened, like a second thought had elbowed the first one out of the way.
And might I add that you are a very handsome woman.
Croissant-chan immediately froze, and if her mouth could, it would have dropped to the floor. Then she lit up.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Hold on. I need to sit with that for a second, because I am handsome, and I don't get to hear it said like that very often, and now my brain is doing that thing where it claps.
Nice. That's super cool. I have a cloud that passes by my bedroom window, and I like to imagine it claps when I remember where my favorite pair of socks are. I hope your mind gives you encouraging applause, and not the sarcastic kind, unless you're into that.
She pressed a hand to her chest, then immediately waved it off.
Not in a bad way, like polite applause. Very supportive. Anyway, I'm also wearing blue jeans underneath this dress, which I feel is important information so you, don't feel left out.
Well, you know what? Mission accomplished. I feel very included right now. Mjolnir also told me before we came in that he admires how well you take care of the light fixtures around the bakery. Says you're quite the humanitarian.
Oh, well, I'm all for accessibility for, electrical hammers.
And I love that about how your mind works. We ought to treat our objects like pets so they take care of us in our old age. Or something like that. Anyhow, not sure what that means though, but it's a magic hammer, and I just roll with it.
Croissant-chan didn't answer right away. She glanced past him at the candle sconces along the wall, at the way the flames held steady without guttering, then back to the hammer resting in his hand.
That tracks.
She acknowledged.
Most things around here behave better when you acknowledge them.
Thor's mouth formed a perfect O shape, clearly entertained.
They do here as well?
Yeah, ignore them at your own peril. If they feel neglected, they start making decisions without you. That's how you end up with a locked door, a sulking oven, or a whisk that refuses to cooperate out of spite. But anyway, I have a different hypothetical for you, if I may.
She said, striking her palm with her fist playfully. Thor nodded immediately. He treated hypotheticals the way warriors treat weather. Something you respect because ignoring it gets you killed.
If I weren't wearing jeans under this dress...
She continued, gesturing vaguely at herself.
And I didn't say anything, didn't explain anything. Would you still know I was in charge of the bakery?
Thor considered this seriously. The way someone considers whether a bridge will hold if he runs across it in armor. He glanced around the room again. The swept floors, the orderly racks, the ovens resting, not abandoned.
Yes, absolutely.
Then brightening,
110%.
she raised an eyebrow.
Oh, I know that look. You're right, nothing goes over 100%. The god Mimir, also my Rajafi, keeps lecturing me about that one.
I'm reacting to your answer, pretty boy, not your math.
Oh, my bad. I see why you're actually skeptical then. I got you.
He began, warming to the logic.
Well, for one thing, your mead hall cleans itself when you're not here.
My what?
Your mead hall bakery place, I mean.
He corrected, with his arms spread out, confidently confused.
This place is obviously like, you know, a mess hall for Vikings. A place for all sorts of weird people to gather, food gets made, arguments happen.
He gestured with his mug.
If a hall respects its leader, it keeps itself ready. If it doesn't, it falls apart the second they leave.
He nodded, satisfied.
And your golden brown, delicious leadership tells me whoever runs this place knows how to keep forces pointed in the right direction.
Then, warming to his own reasoning, he added almost conversationally.
Also, if you baked like this near the roots of the world, I'm fairly sure Jörmungandr would stop gnawing on Yggdrasil long enough to investigate. Not forever, just long enough to ruin several prophecies.
That sounds bad. I want to use my chef powers for good.
Oh yeah, it kind of does bring about catastrophic level stuff. We all tried to perform dental work on the giant snake to stop it. But for one, none of us are dentists, and two, it kept teething anyway. The ancient snake is still growing up. Crazy nine-realm stuff, I'm telling you.
Thor conceded while also agreeing with himself easily.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to make with my noodle logic is that your bread could interrupt an apocalypse because of good food.
He gestured vaguely northward, as if realms were laid out like poorly labeled drawers.
And Jotunheim, completely done. You bring this level of baking there and the giants would sit down mid-feud and start arguing about whose turn it is to get seconds. That's how you solve international conflicts, not to swords, but by giving everyone an addiction to comfort foods.
Is that also why you agreed to go on a date with me?
I really came to see if we'd match, although to be honest, I do tend to follow my stomach. But to circle back to your question, Croissant-chan, I can tell you wear the pants around here. You could wear pajamas to work, and I'd still see you're the leader of the Bakery Pants Brigade.
For Croissant-chan, his compliments landed cleanly as an extremely personal classification. Thor had identified the bakery the way one names a hall, a place with a keeper, a schedule, and the authority to close its doors without apology. That mattered. She made a mental note to acknowledge it properly later. A small offering. Bread, probably. Freya appreciated when a space dedicated to work and sustenance was recognized as both hearth and hall, and it would be rude to let that kind of compliment pass without thanks. Especially when it had come from a god who understood the difference between ownership and stewardship. The bakery, at least, had been seen correctly.
And
He added, snapping her back to the present.
it's closed during a business day.
One of her tentacle hair strands scratched her head as she chuckled.
Oh yeah, that tracks. I did close this place down just for us.
Absolutely. And a hall that can afford to close is owned by someone who decides when work happens. If it were run by committee or fear, it'd be open right now, even if everything inside hated it.
He paused, then nodded once, satisfied.
So no, I wouldn't need you to wear anything in particular. The bakery already knows who's in charge.
She pointed at him immediately, felt her cheeks blush, delighted and offended in equal measure.
Nope, absolutely not. Shut up, pretty boy. I see your game. But yes, you're also correct.
He accepted this gracefully like it was a promotion, a step up from how an Olympian would handle the situation. Thor pushed back from the table and stood to stretch, arms lifting as if the ceiling were generous. His head came close to a thick wooden beam. The beam slid sideways by a narrow margin, a practiced adjustment made without announcement. Thor paused, finished the stretch at a lower angle. The beam returned to its place, the ceiling holding steady as though this had always been the plan.
Whoops, sorry, Bakery Nexus?
He said, rubbing his head, adjusting nothing in particular.
Low ceiling, that's on me.
The Bakery Nexus shifted its beams a fraction of an inch and chose not to comment. Mjolnir seemed to want to apologize for its owner to the ceiling for a grave transgression. Croissant-chan leaned back and gave him a slow, evaluative once-over, the kind usually reserved for new ovens or suspicious pastries.
Okay, but how tall are you actually? Because I don't think they usually stack people that high where you're from. That feels like a zoning issue.
Thor glanced up at the rafters, as if checking whether they wanted to weigh in on the subject.
Well, it depends on how well I keep track of my stuff, actually. Asgard adjusts itself. Little known in-house secret. Don't tell the frost giants.
Her tentacle hair spun in question marks, much like how the end of a cat's tail goes limp near the end to signal curiosity about the unknown.
The roofs in Asgard adjusts?
Yeah, pretty weird, but there's a method to the madness. For example, if I misplace Mjolnir, the ceiling lowers all day until I find it. If I don't, I get kicked out of Asgard until the next fiscal quarter or whenever Ragnarok presses the reset button. It's basically time out for Norse gods.
Croissant-chan stared at him, lips pressed together, eyes sparkling with the effort of not laughing.
Oh, my Eldritch. It's so funny to hear how places get mad at their owners in different realms all the same. I'm glad we have that in common, actually.
Yep, except unlike Mjolnir, this is basically Freya's veneer magic.
He clarified quickly.
Accountability enchantment. She got tired of me losing important items before battles, so she came up with a fail-safe solution. And let me tell you, the first time I lost the hammer, the Great Hall got very intimate with my forehead.
She nodded slowly, absorbing this.
You do have a very nice forehead, Thor.
She said thoughtfully with a hint of coyness.
Thanks, Freya's magic thinks the same thing. And in Asgard, you leave your weapons lying around, the roof reminds you.
So it's like passive-aggressive real estate.
He brightened.
Huh, that's pretty funny. But yes, exactly.
And when you find it?
She asked, already leaning forward, invested now.
Oh, that's when everything goes back to normal. The ceiling lifts, gradually. There's a chime too, like those LG washing machines mortals use. It's supposed to make you feel good about not being kicked out of your house.
Croissant-chan made a small, reverent noise.
Oh, wow.
She said, eyes wide.
So it rewards you for basic responsibility. That's honestly incredible house training. Like gold star behavior, very Pavlovian. And, as you know, my bakery taught me that too. And it taught me a little bit about responsibility and time management.
Thor leaned forward slightly, intrigued.
I'm guessing that's your dad's Eldritch magic afoot. That sounds like the bond between Mjolnir and myself. I'm only able to wield it if I treat our battles like PowerPoint group collaboration.
Pretty much the same with the bakery, except it has a lot of octopus logic attached to it, just like my hair.
She said quickly, her hair tentacle strands doing a slight dance.
The very idea of ownership gets weird once the building feels like a jealous sous chef.
She paused, then brightened.
There was this one time I burned a tray just past the golden brown delicious ratio, like technically edible, emotionally wrong, and it got serious with me.
That does sound seriously serious.
Thor agreed, solemn.
It was mega serious.
She added with the tentacle hair stretching outward alongside her hands.
The doors locked me out for 1 year, wouldn't respond to apologies, wouldn't acknowledge excuses, just vented steam in my general direction like I'd disappointed a parent and an appliance at the same time.
She leaned in, lowering her voice conspiratorially.
I had to get Cthulhu to come stare at the door until it gave in. My dad is great like that. He can just stare at things and reality just adjusts around him.
I should clarify, careful listener, that I did not invoke Eldritch authority in that moment. That would have been excessive. I simply informed the door, very calmly, that if it continued this behavior, I would repurpose it into a footstool. I explained that it would be sanded, upholstered in something humiliating, and placed near a reading chair where guests would rest their feet on it while making small talk. I let it sit with that image for a moment. The door unlocked itself immediately. Some objects respond better to consequences they can picture. Anyway, to get back to the story, Thor nodded with deep, immediate respect.
That's fair. Systems need boundaries.
Exactly.
She said, relieved.
If a place doesn't enforce standards, things get sloppy.
He looked around the bakery again now, reassessing it with the seriousness of a warrior entering sacred ground.
So if I knock something over,
He began carefully.
even by accident,
The date would be over.
She said cheerfully.
Not by me. I'm very forgiving. But the place would lock you out until you came back with a culinary degree and a sincere apology letter.
She smiled at him.
It's nothing personal. It's just how Gordon Ramsay works around here.
He straightened instinctively and looked over his shoulder as if he was about to speak candidly with his ancestors.
oh, you nicknamed your bakery after the Hell's Kitchen guy? Nice. I respect environments that enforce standards, like how Loki keeps trying to remove himself as my emergency contact, and no place in the Nine Realms is willing to accept that risk.
A cooling rack shifted half an inch as his skirt brushed it. He caught it before anything fell. Steady hands, no panic.
See? It's observing you right now.
He looked upward, acknowledging that Croissant-chan's place moved much like an octopus's decentralized nervous system.
Got it, but I think it kind of likes us, you know, given how it hasn't interrupted. All the same, I'll try not to trigger a Ragnarok-level event in your bakery.
Croissant-chan then reached for her phone and placed it on the table. Her phone unlocked and apps displayed with a glowing background light.
You know, these other guys didn't make my list. They didn't wear the dress like I asked. And so what I think I'm saying is, you're kind of in a league of your own, Thor.
She exhaled.
Which, okay, maybe that sounds like a stupid request when I say it out loud. I just thought it would be funny, and maybe, I don't know, loosen things up, filter a little?
Nah, don't be hard on yourself.
Thor said gently.
I get it, I think.
He glanced over at Mjolnir for backup. The hammer offered none, and continued admiring its own reflection in the plates.
For me, I just kind of, to borrow your words, have this noodle logic way of sorting people.
He mentioned, his eyes dimming in the way nostalgia collides with the present.
It's not very impressive, it doesn't look efficient on paper, but it keeps my circle real, trustworthy, like, okay, some people are roots, some people are leaves. Leaves are nice, leaves are festive, but you don't build your house around them.
Hey, Thor?
She began, reaching into the recess of her mind for pop culture trivia.
Did you just quote Medea?
Poorly.
He admitted.
YouTube was a strange time for me. Tyler Perry, Foamy the Squirrel, Charlie the Unicorn. It all blended together and now it's my emotional education. But anyway, yeah.
She didn't laugh right away. Instead, she studied him. The skirt, the way the fabric settled instead of clinging, The way he wasn't bracing for judgment and fully immersing himself in the experience.
I just figured,
She started with a rare hint of shyness.
if a man can survive being briefly decorative,
She reached out and flicked a stray thread near his hem back into place, gentle and precise.
then he can probably survive me because I know I'm a lot. And so is my dad being an elder god and all.
Hey, you know what? That was so real. And you probably know my saga, but in case you never heard, I once survived pretending to be Freya at a giant's banquet. I was committed to the bit. Originally, I was there from Mjolnir, but I didn't expect to find out I was learning how to be comfortable in my body all over again, or something like that, you know?
She glanced at the Tinder icon again on her phone, feeling like a decision was being made about the thunder god across from her.
So, yeah, good old noodle logic. Gotta love it. But yours makes sense to me. I'd take a serving of it if you offered it on the menu.
She glanced back at him, full of a spectrum of emotion.
You evaluate men on hammer grip and organizational skills. And I, on the other hand, evaluate them on whether they can survive being asked to look a little silly without getting weird about it.
Exactly.
Thor glanced down at himself again, smoothing the fabric at his hip with an absent-minded satisfaction that suggested he had already made peace with the silhouette.
And you know,
He continued, warming to his own thought process.
after all that jazz, accidentally betrothing a frost giant, committing to impersonating a goddess of love and scary collapsing ceiling magic, the whole thing, I realized I had attractive legs.
Croissant-chan gave him a sideways glance and an arched eyebrow.
It taught me something about myself,
He added, earnest.
like how I had to be respectful with leg day.
Did you just compare wearing a dress to going to the gym?
Yeah, most guys skip it. They get all heroic up top and then forget the foundation.
He gestured loosely downward.
You can't neglect support and expect to stand in a crisis.
Croissant-chan's eyes widened slightly.
Oh, male chicken leg syndrome? Upper body gets all the love. I'm aware of that.
Exactly.
He nodded, pleased that she understood.
But wearing a dress on a date is kind of like remembering what to do leg day. You try new things. You work muscles you don't usually flex. Otherwise, you end up top heavy in life.
She stared at him for a long moment.
Thor,
She said carefully,
that might be the dumbest, smartest thing I've ever heard. And it's so left field, but I'm here for it anyway.
He accepted this as a compliment.
But, you know,
She leaned forward slightly now, more assessment than teasing.
you didn't hesitate, and you've been very gentlemanly, and I appreciate that.
He shrugged lightly.
If I can survive frost giants and Freya's wrath, I can survive a bakery that may or may not put me in timeout.
The ovens hummed, steady and approving. She reached across the table and adjusted the strap at his shoulder. He didn't shift away or make a joke to cover it. There was a hint of hesitation in his eyes. Then he reached into his pocket with the casual transparency of someone who does not perform secrecy well.
Full disclosure, I think I'm ready to delete this dating app. The Tinder app, I mean.
She raised an eyebrow.
Oh,
He pulled out his phone and turned it toward her without defensiveness. Tinder glowed back at them, algorithmic and expectant.
I mean, Asgard's small.
He said with a helpless grin.
You'd be surprised how many frost giants list into fitness as a personality.
Croissant-chan snorted. Thor shrugged.
But yeah, dating apps are getting weird out there now. For example, it started doing this thing where every time I matched with someone, it wanted facial recognition, then asked if I wanted to pay a subscription for an AI girlfriend, which would revert to an acquaintance if I lapsed in payment, a pint of my blood, weird stuff, offered to give me a free Twitter account with exclusive access to a blue check if I paid premium or something.
A pint of blood?
Oh, that one was for national security.
He explained poorly.
Some politician somewhere decided romance was a border issue and said donating blood is patriotic, which is wild because I'm literally the god of thunder. What are they verifying? That it's actually me?
Yeah, dating just isn't what it used to be. Most people just want free food from the bakery, and these apps enable that behavior.
Thor nodded in immediate agreement.
Tell me about it. It kept saying, please confirm your identity to continue swiping. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a lot of bureaucracy for scrolling behavior.
He lifted his phone and scrolled once more.
And then it offered me a free car.
A free car?
She repeated.
Yeah, but I'd have to pay a subscription plan to drive it. And if I ever hypothetically missed a payment, the car would auto-lock and drive itself back to the dealership and then charge me child support. The terms and conditions said the Twitter account would be treated like a child I'd have to pay on until it turned 18 years old.
He paused, considering it.
It's kind of cool if you think about it. Loyalty-based branding.
Croissant-chan stared at him for a beat, then burst out laughing.
That's very dystopian, Thor.
Yeah, I'm starting to think dating might not be for me, but I'm glad we matched. And that's sort of my long way of saying, I think this might be the only date I need.
He said easily. She reached across the table and took the phone from his hand.
Yeah.
She said quietly.
This date feels right, doesn't it?
She grabbed her phone, found the app and deleted it, having figured out Thor and the true vibes of the date. The screen went blank. Mjolnir stopped humming. For a moment there was no thunder, just the smell of butter and cardamom, and something uncomplicated settling into place. Thor straightened slightly at the word ritual, then relaxed again when she smiled.
You know, this whole conversation got me thinking, I guess it takes a real man to look like someone's wife.
Now, careful listener, you may also be wondering where I appear in all this. And it's good you're wondering, because that means I fulfilled my role as a casual observer. I kept my distance and slowed my roll for a bit. Which is ironic, I realize, considering I'm an octopus god occupying a wine barrel that is, at best, half full. Don't worry about it. When I started inching the barrel's weight forward by propelling my body towards their table, Thor was using Mjolnir like a cheap parlor trick. He coaxed a thin ribbon of lightning into existence, tasteful, controlled, barely singing the air. Powdered sugar crackled, cups chimed. Croissant-chan leaned forward like she was watching a very polite magic trick that had personally chosen her. Her joyous laughter climbed the walls of the bakery and spearheaded its way through the wine barrel I was rolling from the cellar room. Do it again, I can hear her insisting to Thor. I briefly glimpsed the simple nature of his divine trickery, and I'll have you all remember that I am Cthulhu. You know, the Elder God. I can do all sorts of pretty cool tricks too, including bending space-time into geometries during a workout session. I can transform from a humanoid shape into an octopus. I can juggle croissants. And yet here we were, watching my youngest daughter applaud weather behavior. I adjusted myself inside the barrel again, which was a mistake, because barrels do not respect dignity. The wine sloshed. The barrel rolled an inch, then another, slowly, casually, with what I would like to believe was subtle intent. This was not me approaching by the way you might think. this was me repositioning for narrative awareness. Thor grinned, bashful in that way God should not be legally allowed to be.
It's just static control.
He said, reaching for her fingers that gladly accepted his.
You kind of got to feel the humidity. Let it move through you.
Let it move through you. Did he think he was an airbender? Should I call M. Night Shyamalan to hire him for the next live-action remake? Aggressively, I tightened my grip on the rim of the barrel and allowed it to roll another foot closer, purely so I could hear better. Entire galaxies have leaned in harder when I wake up. Croissant-chan clapped again at another piece of thunder bravado I couldn't see. Clapped. I have inverted gravity in this bakery twice today to optimize lamination integrity, and not a single croissant applauded me. Fascinating, I said, voice insulated and muffled from my oak confinement. Absolutely calm. He can move electrons like synchronized swimmers in the air. No one heard me. Or worse, they did, and chose thunder. I rolled the barrel again, just a little, careful not to interrupt. I am nothing if not respectful of other people's moments. The front doors of the Bakery Nexus failed in a way that suggested they had briefly reconsidered the concept of consent. Wood splintered outward, bells screamed in protest, and a rush of cold swept through the room with all the subtlety of an unresolved grudge. Flour lifted from the counters and hung in the air like a paused argument. The ovens faltered, then steadied themselves, offended but alert. A frost giant filled the doorway. He was enormous in the specific way that implies childhood stories told incorrectly on purpose. Blue-skinned, scar-latticed, wrapped in furs that had once been animals with aspirations. Ice steamed faintly from his shoulders, as if his anger had its own weather system. His eyes locked immediately on Croissant-chan, who was still seated, still mid-date, still holding a cup of coffee that had not asked for this escalation.
Thor!
The giant bellowed, voice cracking the beams.
You think you can mock me by wearing the shape of a woman and hiding among flour and oven heat?
Croissant-chan blinked. Thor stood so quickly his chair protested.
Oh, hey, wow. Okay, this is absolutely not what's happening.
The frost giant started into a run and lunged forward to emphasize his point. That was when his foot caught the rim of my wine barrel. It is important to understand that this was not a heroic fall. There was no tragic inevitability, no slow-motion ballet of fate. It was a simple, humiliating failure of spatial awareness. The kind that happens when vengeance arrives without having read the room. The barrel lurched. The wine sloshed. I did not have time to regret my earlier decisions before physics asserted itself with bureaucratic efficiency. I was ejected. I emerged from the barrel sideways, tentacles flailing, dignity scattering in several directions at once, just in time for the frost giant, now fully committed to gravity, to come down on top of me with the force of a minor avalanche and the precision of a dropped refrigerator. We hit the floor together. The sound that followed was not a scream, nor a crunch, nor even a proper impact. It was the sound of several fundamental laws briefly pausing to renegotiate their priorities. The Bakery Nexus groaned. The lights flickered. Somewhere an oven made a judgmental noise. The frost giant lay still for a moment, confused, his enormous weight pressing me flat against the tile in a way that was neither comfortable nor narratively flattering.
Oh, hey there, Space Calamari. How's it going? What are you doing on the floor beneath a frost giant?
Great and terrible Cthulhu, Sir, Lord, Archivist, respected floor-based deity.
The frost giant blurted, words tumbling over one another as he scrambled to his knees, and then thought better of it, and stayed very still.
I would like to state for the record that I would never knowingly drop my full body weight onto an elder god during a date, or a non-date, or frankly any social gathering with hors d'oeuvres. This was a misunderstanding rooted entirely in righteous vengeance and poor depth perception. And if I had known you were present, I would have postponed my revenge, rescheduled my rage, possibly sent a letter. Because everyone in Jotunheim knows you do not just appear places unless reality has already made several mistakes. And I respect that. Deeply, profoundly. I have statues. Not of you specifically, because we are afraid that counts as an invitation. But spiritually.
You are spiraling, I said, dusting flour from my sleeve. And you are still on me.
Right. Yes. Sorry. Apologies. Enormous apologies.
He said, inching backward.
Please, do not catalog my bones, or curse my lineage, or reassign my soul to something humiliating, like a decorative basin.
It's all good, man. I get why you're upset. You really wanted to marry someone that day, and I really wanted my hammer back. We probably could have communicated a bit better that day.
Thor offered helpfully. Silencer, Thunderjock, I said pleasantly, then looked back at the giant. Here is what is going to happen. Croissant-chan requires staffing. You will pledge yourself as temporary bakery labor. You will stop attempting revenge on Thor. You will refrain from landing on anyone, and you will get off me immediately. In exchange, I will not so much as glance in the direction of Jotunheim with intent. The giant gaped at me with naked determination, processing this.
Do I get an apron?
If you survive your first shift, I said, standing at last, we'll discuss fabric. By the time I was fully upright again, the bakeries had settled into a new configuration. Croissant-chan and Thor sat together at the counter, sharing appetizers prepared with extreme care by a frost giant who had been trained, corrected, and supervised by Vistaki in under 10 minutes. She had appeared because there was an unusual commotion she heard from her forge. And when she saw me, she didn't waste time letting me know about interrupting dates. Croissant-chan thankfully came to my defense and told her I made the wine ferment better. Madeline arrived next, already mid-sentence, already explaining how hiring a frost giant during business hours had generated paperwork she would now have to untangle, and how this had become, somehow, my fault. I listened to both of them at once while watching Croissant-chan laugh at something Thor said. Her shoulders relaxed, the evening intact. I decided, under considerable verbal pressure, that this outcome was acceptable. The date continued. I remained present for the reprimand. This, I felt, was a fair exchange.